virtual life.
Smriti-Puranam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Sankaram Lokasankaram Atmadacharya Pradyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Arunam Karunatarangitaakshim Dhritapajam Kuchapushpabala Chapam Manimadibhiravritam Avritam Mayokaihi Ahametyeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim. With the abundant blessings of our Seva, we have been able to come to almost half of completion of LALITHA SAHASRANAMA, Nama's explanations. We are now on sloka number 81.
Namaskaram. Para pratyakchiti rupa pashyanti paradevata madhyama vaikari rupa bhaktamanasa hamsika kameshwara prananadi kritagnya kama pujita shangara rasa sampurna jaya jalandhara sthita.
Para pratyakchiti rupa pashyanti paradevata madhyama vaikari rupa. Now this represents four aspects of how we generate a sound in our body. A very interesting phenomenon. The four aspects are para, pashyanti, madhyama, and vaikari. Let us understand first how we generate the sound, then we have got a broader meaning. We will go to that after that. What Shastras say is that our sound, when we speak something, when it becomes audible to others, when we are able to give a proper shape to that sound, that is called vaikari. The audible sound is called vaikari. When it is in the seed stage, it is in a thought stage. You have to give a thought and then only speak, isn't it? So when it is in thought stage, it is para. And pashyanti and vaikari are the in-between stages of the generation of sound. So para happens at Mooladhara stage. Pashyanti happens at Nabhi location. Madhyama happens at heart location. And vaikari happens at the throat location. So the sound is not something which we generate very quickly all of a sudden. It looks as if we are generating quickly, we are able to speak fast, etc., etc. But that's only an appearance. Before that, before it becomes vaikari, before it becomes audible, there are three stages. Para is the very first stage, subtle stage. Then pashyanti. Then why it is called pashyanti, there is a very interesting explanation. It is called para because it is the supreme, the most subtle. Then pashyanti because if you stand in front of a yogi, a jnani, Even if you don't speak anything, he is able to read your words, read your thoughts. Now, that is Pashyanti. When your thought has just germinated, he is able to read that. That is why you don't have to speak anything in front of a yogi. Pashyanti means he is able to see with his inner eye your inner thoughts. Then it is Madhyama, that is between, Para is absolutely subtle. Pashyanti is just started germinating. So Madhyama is the in-between state. And this happens, the Shastra explains, this happens by a certain action of the wind, which is generated at Mooladhara state, and it goes up. When the air goes up through various chakras, this thing happens. Nadi, Anahata, then throat, Ajna. At the Ajna chakra level, it goes to the throat and then it becomes audible. Well, there are other aspects to this. We will not get into very technical aspects. He says it is associated with manas in between, then it is associated with buddhi, then it becomes audible. Now, this is as far as the sound part is concerned. Now, when it is in the associated with the creation stage, when it is associated with creation stage, and after the pralaya, when the first creation starts, then all the jivas are in subtle form in the belly of Devi. Then what happens? Then, of course, the commentator has gone into tremendous amount of explanation of these four stages with reference to creation. We will look at it in as simple a manner as possible. Now, when the jivas are in subtle form, that is the long period of rest. We have seen that, the Rodhana. Now, when the creation is about to start, when Maya has taken over the act of creation, it is in para state. What is in para state? The creation is in para state. The jivas are in para state. Because jivas have got various karmas which have not borne fruition yet. When they are in stage of rest, when they start bearing fruit, that is the time when creation starts. Every jiva has got a certain karma which bears fruit at the time of creation. So every jiva goes through that. Now, when it is at the very preliminary stage, it is para. They call it Aruna Bindu in their technical language. Then the next stage, Pashyanti, what happens is they are generating the basic structure of creation. That is Pashyanti. Then the next stage is Madhyama. Then the final stage is Vaikhari. Vaikhari is the Panchabhutas, the five elements. That is Vaikhari, because they are visible. They're something which you can feel. You can feel the air, you can feel the Agni, you can feel the wind, you can feel the water, you can feel the earth, you can feel the space. So they are available for our sense organs. So that is Vaikhari. Just as the sound which we speak was available for the hearer, here also by the same token, the five elements are available for experience by sense organ. That is the Vaikhari stage. So para stage was just start of creation when Bhagavan starts thinking of creation. That is the stage. Then the Pashyanti and Madhyama stages are the in-between stages. So he says, we said first is Karana Bindu, then Karya Bindu, then Nada, then Bijam. The last one is Bijam. So this is how he is describing Para, Sukshma, and Sthula. Then the Sthula is what we are now talking about, the final creation. Now he is giving so many details of this, but it's enough if we understand that this is a stage of creation. The creation also is based on sound, isn't it? Shabda Brahma. So there also, just as we speak, we generate sound. There also a sound has to be generated when there was no sound. When there was no sound before creation, sound has to be generated first. That is the para stage. After the generation of sound, it goes through these two in-between stages before it takes the form of elements. Because there is a stage of Mahat, there is a stage of Ahankara, these are various stages of creation. So Mahat is Pashyanti, Ahankara is Vaikari according to certain schools of thought. So now Para Pratyakshiti Rupa. Now Pratyakshiti Rupa. We have seen Chiti. Chiti is consciousness. Pratyakshiti Ananda. We have seen. Pratyaka means look inward. Inward looking. That means don't look outward. Because Atma has to be experienced inwards. That is what Shastra says. Whatever you experience outwards is not going to help. It's only an aid, it's only a tool. But actually, finally, you have to look inwards and look for Atma Darshanam, Atma Anubhavam. So that consciousness which is there, dormant in every jiva, in every living being, that is there. Now, you start looking inwards and start looking for it. That is Pratyakshiti Rupa. This consciousness starts attracting you towards itself inside. That is the Pratyakshiti Rupa. So it is Devi's grace which makes you turn inwards. That is what he is saying. So why he brought it along with Para is we saw the very subtle stage of creation. Very subtle stage of creation. So very subtle stage of creation itself, every jiva has been given this consciousness. Consciousness is there right at that stage. Ashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari, all stages. The consciousness is there. So that is why he is saying, even at stage of para, at the very initial stage, this sthiti, this consciousness is there internally. Only thing we have to look for it. Paradevata is just to say that Devi is supreme. Madhyama Vaikari Rupa Bhakta Manasa Hamsika. Devi is like a swan, like a hamsa in the minds of devotees. Bhakta Manasa. Now, the commentator very nicely explains certain things here. He says, Manasa is, he could have used any other word for Manas. The word Manasa refers to Manasarovar, which is created by Brahma, which is there in Swargaloka. He says, Kailasa Shikhare Rama Manasa Nirmitam Saraha Brahmana Prajitam Yasmate Tadabon Manasam Saraha. It was created by Brahma by his mental power, Manasa. That is why it's called Manasarovar. And there, Hamsas are there, swans. And those swans, wherever they go, if they leave that Sarovar, when they go out, they want to come back again to that Sarovar. That is what the Shastra says. These Hamsas have a way of getting back to that Sarovar. Now, what he means is, similarly, we have Devi's presence in our minds like a Hamsa, always. But we allow the Hamsa, just as we don't recognize the Hamsa, it is as good as Hamsa not being there. Hamsa has gone somewhere. It is as good as that, though it is not factually correct. So we should experience that Hamsa, because Hamsa wants to come back to Manasarovar. So similarly, our Devi, who is present in our minds, wants to attract our attention, same as Pratyakshiti Rupa. So in fact, he is referring to Saundarya Lahari here. Samunmilatham Kamalamakarandaikaratikam Bhajeham Sadvandvam Kimapi Mahatam Manatacharam. There also the same Manasacharam Hamsadvandvam. Yadalapat Ashtadashagunita Vidya Parinatihi Yada Datte Doshate Gunamakhilam Adhyapayaiva. So all the Vidyas come from those Hamsadvandvam, he says there, the two Hamsas. So that's what he is saying. Bhakta Manasa Hamsika Kameshwara Prananadi, the life nerve, life nadi for Kameshwara. What does it mean? It means Kameshwara cannot live without Kameshwari, just as Kameshwari cannot live without Kameshwara. Both are actually one, having taken two separate halves, half shapes. So here again, he is quoting Saundarya, very beautiful shloka. Sudhamapyaswadya pratibhajara mrityuharini vipadyante vishve vidhi Shatamakhadyadivishadaha Taralam Yatpelam Kabalitavatah Kalakalana Najambhos Tanmulam Tavajanani Tatanka Mahima. Very famous sloka where the Tatanka Mahima is attributed to the longevity of Parameshwara. He is also quoting from Sri Rudram, Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu Raghora Papakajani Tayanastanu Vashantamaya Girishanta Vishakashi Seva Rudrasya Bheshagi Tayano Mridagivase. Seva Rudrasya Bheshagi. Shiva is the Devi is the doctor, the healer for Shiva. Rudrasya Bheshagi Tayano Mridagivase. That is how Shiva is alive. Even Vedas says that. Kameshwara Prananadi. Kritagnya. Kritagnya has got a very strange interpretation here. Normally, let us first understand what we normally mean by Kritagnya. Kritagnya, when we say, we mean gratefulness. Kritagnyata is gratefulness. Kritagnya is one who is grateful. If it is a woman, it is Kritagnya, a woman who is grateful. Kritagnya. But here that is not the meaning. Here what it means is, because in Sanskrit there are words which can imply different meanings in different contexts. So here the meaning is Krita Jnana, someone who knows everything that is done. That means what? Everything that is done by the Jivas. Whatever you do is known to Devi. That is, you cannot hide anything from her power of knowledge. This is obvious because she is present inside every Jiva. So that is what he means. Of course, he is quoting from the Shastra which says, Surya Somoyam Akkalo Mahabhutani Panchate Ete Shubha Shubhasyeha Karmano Navasakshinaha. There are 9 witnesses for every action that we do. That is what Shastra says. One is Surya, another is Chandra, another is Yama, another is Kala, that is time. Mahabhutani Panchacha, the 5 great elements. Ete Shubhashubhasyehe Karmano Navasakshinaha. These 9 are the witnesses for whatever Shubha Karma or Ashubha Karma that we do. Now, since it is Devi who has appointed these 9 elements, then Devi is also there in present in all these elements. So Devi is Kritagnya. Now, another meaning is, which is very interesting, that is, if you do all good things, all punya karmas, and dedicate them to Devi, then she knows that, Kritagnya. Then she knows that, and she doesn't keep the fruit to herself, she gives it back to you in multiple proportion. That is what, that is Kritagnya. That is whatever we do, whatever punya karma we do, and dedicate to Devi, comes back to us in manifold form. So there are other very technical meanings he is giving. That is for Kritagnya. Kama Pujita. Kama is Manmatha, so worshipped by Manmatha. We have seen before Manmatha is one of the great 12 Devi Upasakas, and there is a Manmatha Vidya. In Sri Vidya Tantra, we have seen in the Panchadashakshari mantra, there is a mantra evolved by Manmatha. So, we have seen before Manovidya, Chandra Vidya, Raja, Rajarchita, and all these names, we saw this concept. That is what is referring here. It is Kama Pujita, worshipped by Manmatha. That is the Manmatha has got a special place in Sri Vidya worship as well as in Saundarya also. Dhanush Paushpam Maurvi Madhugaramayi Panchavisikha Vasantas Samanto Malaya Maruta Yodhana Rakaha Tadaapyekas Sarvam Himagirisute Kamapi Kripam Apanga Te Labdha Jagadidam Anango Vijayate Tathapi Ekas Sarvam Ekaha, being alone, Kamapi Kripam, because of some unusual compassion from Devi, he is able to achieve Jaya, achieve victory wherever he goes. That is what Acharya says. Sringara Rasa Sampurna. Now, Lalita Devi, Kameshwari, to whom this stotra is dedicated, is the highest form of Sringara Rasa, according to Shakta. There are several forms of Devi, as we know. In all those forms, Sringara Rasa is there, no doubt. But Sringara Rasa Sampurna, 100% Sringara Rasa, if you have to find, it is found in Lalita Parameshwari. That is what the explanation is for the Sringara Rasa Sampurna. There is another explanation which is very interesting. He is saying, Kama Pujita, Sringara Rasa Sampurna, Jalandhara Sthita, and Udyana Petha Sthita, Udyana Petha Nilaya. Now these four refer to four Shakti Pithas which are present in the body. Four Shakti Pithas which are present in the body. We know about Shakti Pithas which are present in Bharat Desha, we don't have darshan. There are various versions, 51 Shakti Pithas, 108 Shakti Pithas are described in Devi Bhagavatam, etc. Now, in four chakras in the body, Mooladhara, Anahatam, Vishuddhi, and Ajna. Mooladharam, Anahatam, Vishuddhi, and Ajna. These are the four Pithas, four locations where Shakti Pithas are associated. Now, the four Shakti Pithas associated are Kamagiri, Purnagiri, Jalandhara, and Udyana Pitha. So, Kamagiri is the first one, that is Mooladhara. That is what was referred by Kama Pujita. The second one is Sringara Rasa Sampurna. That is referred to in Anahata, where we have Purnagiri. Now, Purnagiri is a Pitha in Uttarakhand. Purnagiri is a Pitha in Uttarakhand. These four are specially given prominence because they are present in our body. Abodes of Devi. Next is Anahata. Anahata is Jalandhara. Jalandhara Pitham. Jalandhara Pitham comes for reference in many places in Shakta literature. Even in Kamakshi Vilasam, there is a reference to Jalandhara Pitham. Kamagiri is, of course, the Kamakhya Pitham. Kamagiri, which we saw, the first one, is actually Kamakhya Pitham in Assam. Jalandhara is in Jalandhar in Punjab, where all these Pithas, as we know, some parts of Devi's body fell down in those places and they are worshipped as Shakti Pitha. Now, in our body, similarly, we have these four Shakti Pithas. Then we have Vishuddhi, which is Jalandhara. Vishuddhi is Jalandhara. Then we have Ajna, which is Udyana Pitha, which comes later on. Ajna is reference to Udyana Pitha, which is in Orissa. So we have Kamagiri, we have, which is Kamakhya, Purnagiri, which is in Uttarakhand, we have Jalandhara, which is in Jalandhar in Punjab, Odhyana, which is in Orissa. Now, these four pithas are outside, but the same four pithas are inside the human body, and they are being referred to here by the subtle names. There is always a way of, because the whole of LALITHA SAHASRANAMA is of the form of mantra we have seen. So there is always subtle indication, direct meaning and a subtle indirect meaning. So these four Kamakoti, Jangarasa Sampurna, Jalandhara and Odhyana Petinalya refer to the four Shakti Pithas. Then Jaya. Jaya is, as per Padma Puranam, there is Devi Surupam in Varaha Shailam. In Varaha Shailam, that is Jaya. Jaya Varaha Shailetu. So that is Jaya. So it tallies with the other four descriptions of Devi Shakti Pitham. It goes well with that, Jaya. Para Pratyakshiti Rupa Pashyanti Paradevata Madhyama Vaikhari Rupa Sattamanasaham Kameshwara Prananadi Kritagnya Kamapujita Shringararasa Sampurna Jaya Jalandhara Sthita.
ओढ्यानपीठनिलया बिन्दुमण्डलवासिनी रहोयागक्रमाराध्या रगस्तर्पणतर्पिता सत्यप्रसादिनी विश्वसाक्षिणी साक्षिवर्जिता षडङ्गदेवतायुक्ता षाड्गुण्यपरिपूरिता.
Odhyana Petanaya, just now we have seen the last of the four Shakti Pithas in the body. Bindu Mandala Vasini, one who has her abode in Bindu Mandalam, residing in Bindu Mandalam. What is Bindu Mandalam? If you see the Sri Chakra, there is a Bindu at the center, a dot. The whole Sri Chakra is built around that dot. There are 9 avaranas, 9 enclosures before you go to the, just as we have several enclosures in a temple before we go to the Garbhagraha. Similarly, there are 9 enclosures here before we reach the Bindu. Bindu is the central point where Shiva Shakti Aikyam is there. Kamarasa Aikyam, as they say. So that is the point we have to reach finally for having Darshana of Devi. So that is Bindu Mandala Vasini. That is known as Sarvanandamaya Chakram. As we have seen before, every one of these 9 avaranas has got its own names, its own avarana devatas, etc. etc. Very detailed explanation is there. So the last one, Sarvanandamaya Chakra, the Bindu, the dot, is what is referred to here, where Devi herself has her abode. Raho Yaga Kramaradhya Rahastarpana Tarpita. Raho Yaga means a yaga which is a secret yaga. Raho Yaga Krama Aradhya. She is worshipped by the procedure which is mentioned for a secret yaga. Now, this can be interpreted in many ways. The secret yaga is Sri Chakra itself. If you worship Devi in Sri Chakra, Navavarana Puja, that is all, because all these are esoteric, not commonly known. You cannot do it yourself. You need to be initiated by a guru. So these are always treated as secret. And guru will not initiate anybody and everybody into such mantras and pujas. So they are sacred. So the first is the Sri Chakra Puja, which is done externally. The second is the internal, we have seen before, which is more powerful. That is the Kundalini Yoga. Raising the Kundalini power from Mooladhara, taking right up to Sahasrara after Shat Chakra Bhedana. We have seen this in detail. So that is the second part, which is also Raho Yaga. Now there is a third Raho Yaga. Now the third Raho Yaga is even more powerful, they say, which is also internal. They say the Chidagni, the consciousness in the form of Agni, has to be generated in the heart, and there you have to give ahutis. Well, all this is mental. There you have to give ahutis. of punya, etc. Punya, etc. are the ahutis which are given in this Jadagni. That is called Raho Yaga Krama Radhya. Sahastarpana Tarpita. One who Tarpita means one who is pleased. Tarpana means an act of pleasing. This is not a reference to the Tarpana which is associated with Pitru Tarpana. So the meaning is the same. There also we do this Tarpanam only for satisfying, for pleasing the Pitrus. No doubt about that. But it has a certain structure, certain format, etc. We are not referring to that here. Now, Tarpana Tarpita, one who is pleased by our Tarpana, which is also a sacred, Rahas Tarpana. Now, this reference here is to the ahutis which you perform in the sacred yaga, which we saw the last one, the third one, the interpretation of Chedagni, and offering a punya, etc. ahutis. Those ahutis are so secretive that is known as Sahastarpana Tarpita. So another meaning is that any of these three which we saw, Raho Yaga which we saw, that is say Chakra Puja or Kundalini Yoga practice or this Chedagni Homa. Now any of these three if you do with full understanding of the meaning, that is called Rahastarpana. This is another interpretation. So they will become even more happy when you do this procedure with full recognition of the meaning. So that is, in fact, comes in the next name also, Sadhya Prasadini, one who becomes happy and gives you blessing immediately. Sadhya Prasadini, one who blesses immediately. Now, this is a general name here, no doubt. That means Devi, like Ashutosha for Shiva, who blesses very quickly. Ashu Doshaha. He becomes satisfied very quickly and he blesses very quickly. Like that, it's a similar name here, similar to that name. Sadhya Prasadini. That means one who becomes happy and one who blesses very quickly. With whatever you do, with whatever worship you offer, not necessarily these esoteric methods of worship which we saw in Rahoyaga, Rahasarpana, etc. Not necessarily. Even normal puja, normal parayana, normal chanting of stotra, etc. also goes with this Sadhya Prasadini. But in the context in which it has come, Raho Yaga, Rahasarpana, then the Sadhya Prasadini, it has been interpreted that Devi is extremely happy. She is ready for immediate blessing when you perform this Raho Yaga and Rahasarpana. Now, next is Vishwasakshini. She is the witness of everything. Just now we saw Kritagnya, we saw that she knows everything that we do. All our actions are known to her. And we saw Navasakshi, now 9 witnesses. The same, similarly, that is for telling us that your actions are not unknown to her. There is no secret. But here there is a general wider meaning, Vishwasakshini. Whatever happens in the world, she is a witness. She is not an active participant. She is not the one who makes the world behave in a certain manner. No. That is the meaning of this. Vishwasakshini. She has created the world based on the Purva karmas of the various jivas. The only basis of the creation of the world is the Purva karmas of the various jivas. There is no other, according to Shastra, it is very clear. In fact, in the previous explanation, came out when Para, Pashyanti, etc., we saw it came out very nicely. So, having done this creation, she is a witness. She is not a participant. And she is a witness, direct witness. That means she doesn't need any interpreter. She doesn't need any in-between agency. Because she is present everywhere. She has created and she has entered the creation. That's what we have seen before, isn't it? There is no place, there is no speck of creation which does not have Devi's presence. This is what we have seen before. So that is Vishwa Sakshini. Sakshi Varjita. Now, when she herself is the witness, she doesn't need another witness. That means there cannot be a witness to Devi. So she is free from another witness because she herself is the witness to everything. There is nothing hidden from her. So there is no need for another witness. There cannot be another witness because she is present everywhere. It is like saying there can be two Parabrahmans. There cannot be because Parabrahma is present everywhere and there is only one Parabrahman. So similarly, only one Sakshi, and there cannot be another Sakshi, so Sakshi Varjita. Shadanga Devata Yukta. Now, if you see Shastra, wherever such procedures are mentioned, there is something called Nyasa. Before you start a certain yajna, before you start a certain puja, before you start a certain japa even. There is something called Anganyasa, Karanyasa, etc., where devatas are invoked in several parts of the body. That is Nyasa. Anganyasa is several parts of the body. Karanyasa is the five fingers. Now, what he's saying here is, he's talking about six such nyasas, six parts of the body where nyasa takes place. This kind of invocation takes place. And you are invoking certain devatas, isn't it, in those six places. They are called Shadanga Devata. Now, Shadanga Devata Yukta means these devatas are actually part of Devi. They are not different from Devi. That we know. Devi is present everywhere. Devi is impelling everything. So, those six are Hridayam, Shiras, Shikha, Netram, Kavacham, Astram. These are six, and you have to learn from the Guru how to do these various mantras associated with these various nyasas, devatas, etc. But these are the six parts. Hridayam, that is heart, Shiras, that is the head, Shikha, that is the tuft on the head, Netram, that is the eyes, Kavacham, that is the armor on the chest, Astra. Now, these six are mentioned here as Shadanga Devata Yukta because Devi has blessed those devatas to bless us to be present in our body and to help us in performing that particular ritual which we have undertaken to perform. That is the idea. Then it is these devatas will ward off all impediments, all vignas, and help us perform properly. And we have to be thankful to those devatas who are appointed by Devi. This is another meaning is, as all of us know, Vedas have got six angas known famously as Shadangas. Vedas have got, apart from the original Veda text called Samhita, there is something called Shadangas, which you have to learn separately, apart from Vedas. Now, those are Shiksha, Kalpam, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandas, and Jyotisham. These six are known as Shadangas, Vedangas or Shadangas. Now, Shiksha is how to pronounce, etc. Kalpa is various rituals, procedures for rituals. Vyakarana is grammar, etc. Niruktam is how the words are constructed, words are derived, etc. Chandas is the meter, which we have seen before. Jyotisham is astronomy, astrology as well as astronomy. Now, these six are essential for performing various rituals and properly understanding the Vedas. Properly understanding the Vedas, the meanings, etc., then properly doing the rituals as stipulated in the Vedas, you need the knowledge of these six. And because it is Devi who is herself Veda, we have seen before, Matswarupam, she said. So, Shadanga Devata Yukta, because each is associated with a Devata. That is our tradition, as you know. Everything is associated with Devata. Even when you buy a car and take to the temple for a puja, he says, Yantra Devata, Ye Namaha, and then he performs the puja, the pujari. So everything, even a river, even a tree, everything is associated with the Devata. That is our tradition. So these six angas are also associated with their own Devatas. And Devi is associated, blesses those six devatas, Shadanga devata, Yukta, Shadgunya Paripurita, full of six qualities. And we have seen this before, those six qualities. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Dharmasya, Yasasya, Jnana, Vairagyayoschaiva, Shannam, Bhagayatirita. When we saw Bhagavati, there we saw these are six qualities which qualify as Bhaga. Aishwarya, Dharma, Yashas, Shri, Jnana, and Vairagya. Now, the same thing is mentioned here as Shadgunya Paripurita. In fact, this you will see in many stotras, even other devatas, with Shadgunya Paripurita name will come because this is something which you associated with any deity. Of course, the commentator has given another interesting explanation for the six gunas. He says a Raja, a king, is supposed to have six gunas, and because Raja is most important for a kingdom for Praja. Without a good Raja, you cannot have peace in the kingdom. So the Raja's being a virtuous Raja is very important. So he is talking about six qualities which have to be present in Raja and which are blessed by Devi, Shadgunya Paripurita. And according to the Niti Shastra for Rajas, for kings, one is Sandhi, that means peace with other kings. Vigraha, whenever required, he goes and fights to perform Yuddha. Yana is traveling with his Sena. Asana, when he takes rest along with his Sena, ready for fighting. Dvaiti Bhava, that means he is arranging his Sena. Samashraya, that means this is the very interesting thing. Samashraya is taking the help, taking refuge in another king when you are helpless. That's very important for a king. So he is talking about that. Odhyana Pitha Nilaya Bindu Mandalavasini Raho Yagakramaradhya Rahastarpana Tarpita Sadhya Prasadini Vishwa Sakshini Sakshivarjita Kadanga Devata Yukta Pradgunya Paripurita.
नित्यक्लिन्ना निरुपमा निर्वाण सुखदायिनी नित्या षोडशिका रूप श्रीकंठार्ध शरीरिणी प्रभावती प्रभारूप प्रसिद्धा परमेश्वरी मूल प्रकृतिरव्यक्ता व्यक्ता व्यक्त स्वरूपिणी.
Nitya Klinna means always compassionate. Klinna means wet, wet with compassion. Ardram Pushkarinim Pushtim we say in Sri Suktam. Ardra means same, being wet, wet with compassion. That is Nitya Klina, always wet. Now, the second meaning is we are going to see Tithi Nitya Devatas. There are 16 Tithi Nitya Devatas associated with 16 Tithis, and one of them is Nitya Klina, the third one, the third Tithi is associated with Nitya Klina. There are names for each of the Tithi Devatas. Nirupama means someone who cannot be compared, incomparable. Nirvana, Nirvana Sukhadayini. Nirvana Sukhadayini. One who gives us the bliss of Nirvana. Nirvana means moksha. Nirvana means moksha. Now, Vana has been interpreted as the body. That means you lose body consciousness completely, and then you merge your consciousness with Devi's consciousness. That is moksha, isn't it? So, Nirvana, Vana means body. Vana can also mean anything mundane, mundane interests, mundane activities. Now, since you completely detach yourself from mundane activities, worldly activities, that is Nirvana. In other words, that is moksha. So, she is the one who gives you the bliss of moksha. Nitya Shodashika Rupa is one name, according to our commentator, Bhaskaraya. There could be other commentators who treat the two as separate names, but they will combine something else because you have to keep the count of 1,000, So we are following Bhaskaraya. Nitya Shodashika Rupa is one name according to us. So there need not be a comma here. Nitya, comma, Shodashika. Similarly, Nirvana Subhadayani is one name. Nitya Shodashika Rupa is one name. Now, this is what we just now saw. 16 Tithi Devatas are there. There are 15 Tithis, Prathama to Purnima. Now, 15 Tithi Devatas plus 16th Devi herself. That is how Nitya Shodashika Rupa. Nitya means they are always present and they are also known as Nitya Devatas. The Tithi Devatas are known as Tithi Nitya Devatas because they are always present. And their names are given in the Shastras. Asa Kameshwari Nitya, Nitya cha Bhagamalini, Nitya Klinna Pichatatha. That is the third one. First one was Nitya, the second was Bhagamalini, third is Nitya Klinna. Nitya Klinna Pichatatha, Berunda Vanhivasini, Mahavidyeshwari, Duti, Varita Kulasundari, Nitya Leela Pataka, Vijaya Sarvamangala, Jwala Malinika Chitre, Eta Panchadashoditaha. Last is Chitra. Eta Panchadashoditaha. These are the 5 Tithi Devatas. That is, every Tithi is associated with the Devatas. And these are the 15 plus Devi 16. Another interpretation can be for Nitya Shodashika Rupa. We have seen the Shodasha mantra. Just as we have seen Panchadashakshara mantra, we have seen Shodashakshara mantra by adding one more Bijapshara to the Panchadashakshara mantra. And we said that is the highest. So, one who is in the form of that Shodasha mantra. Another third meaning is he is saying there is a yaga called Shodasha. Like Vajpayee yaga, etc. There is a yaga called Shodasha, and Devi very much likes that. That is why Nitya Shodashika Rupa. She is of the form of that yaga. Srikantha Ardha Sharirini. Srikantha is Parameshwara. Shri means here poison. The word Shri has got several meanings as a thing. Shri means glory, Lakshmi Kataksham, etc. It is a common meaning. And Shri also has got a meaning of poison. So Srikantha is Nilakantha, that is poisonous throat. Poison, throat where poison is there. So that is Shiva. Srikantha Ardha Sharirini. So she has occupied half of Shiva's body by blessing Shiva. That is the meaning. She gave a blessing to Shiva and she occupies part of that. There are other technical meanings, we will not go into that, which is associated with Akshara theory, etc. Prabhavati, Prabha Rupa. Prabha means the radiance, isn't it? Chandra Prabha, Surya Prabha. We commonly use these two names when we do the diagram in column for Surya Puja on Sankranti day. We will draw two diagrams, Surya Prabha and Chandra Prabha, we say. Even in temples, we have Surya Prabha and Chandra Prabha as Vahanas. So Prabha is radiance, the shine, the brilliance of Surya as well as Chandra. Now, here he says, Prabhavati means whatever shine is there, not necessarily Surya and Chandra, for Agni, for anything which has shine, all brilliance comes from Devi. We have seen it before. So, Prabhavati, so all shine belongs to her. She is the one, the holder of that shine. This is one meaning. Another meaning is that Devi's own shine, own brilliance, takes the form of the Siddhis, mainly Ashtamaha Siddhis, Anima, etc. Anima Diviravratam Mayukhaihi, we say. Mayukha means rays. The shine takes the form of rays, and rays take the form of Anima, etc. Ashtamaha Siddhis. So Animadivravratam Mayukhaihi. Mayukha means rays of brilliance emanating from Devi. So it is also mentioned in other Shakta Granthas, that Anima, etc., or Avarana Devatas, and those are the actual Prabhas, the rays, the brilliant rays coming from Devi. Prabha Rupa. Now, this is same as Prabhavati. The difference is, when you say Prabhavati, when you say somebody is Dhanavan, he possesses wealth. He is not wealth. If you take away wealth from him, he continues to exist. He does not depend on wealth for his existence. So he is Dhanavan. Similarly, Dhanavati. Prabhavati can mean that she holds the brilliance, but brilliance is not necessarily a part of her being. That it can be interpreted like that. So we don't want that interpretation. So he makes it clear. The brilliance is also Devi only. In fact, everything is Devi. All creation is Devi. So there is nothing other than Devi. So the question of brilliance being separated from Devi does not arise. So even the Anima, the Ashtasiddhis, which are in the form of rays coming from Devi's person, are also Devi herself. Prabha Rupa. Prasiddha. Prasiddha means we know, famous. Now this has got a very special meaning here. Famous means what? There are human beings who are famous. Famous means what? Known to certain people, isn't it? Actually, if you break down fame, it means being known to a certain group of people, isn't it? Even if you are known all over the world, not everyone in the world knows you, isn't it? So Prasiddha has got that meaning. When you say text is Ramayana is a Prasiddha text, it's very famous. But not everyone knows Ramayana. But here it is not like that. That is the distinction between that Prasiddha and this Prasiddha. That Prasiddha is limited to certain people only. But whereas this Prasiddha is not limited, no limit. So all Jada, Chaitana, all beings in creation owe their existence. In fact, they exist because of Devi. Devi is present in all those beings. So, now the beautiful explanation for this Prasiddha is, everyone says, I exist, isn't it? No one says, I do not exist. When he says, I, that refers to Devi. Who am I? It's a very famous question put by Ramana Maharshi. So that I is Devi. So he says that Ahanta, that is why she is known as Para Ahanta, a technical name in Shakta literature you will find frequently. Para Ahanta. Ahanta, Aham means I. Ahanta means the quality of being I. The quality of being I in a Jiva is Ahanta, and Para Ahanta is supreme. That means Devi before creation is Para Ahanta. So that is Prasiddha, because everyone says I exist, so she is that I. So she is famous, means she is known to everyone. No one can say I don't exist, so no one can deny the existence of Devi. So she is known to everyone. Parameshwari, Supreme Ishwari, no, there is no one above her, there is no one who can give instructions to her. She is the one who is giving instructions to other devatas. Moola Prakriti Avyakta Vyakta Vyakta Swarupini. This is the very interesting group which talks about creation. We saw in that Para Pratyakshiti Rupa Pashyanti Paradevata also we saw there is a reference to creation there apart from the generation of sound. Similarly, there is a similar sequence of creation which is mentioned here. Moola Prakriti is Maya Shakti, that is Prakriti. Prakriti means something, actually the word Prakriti directly means something special. Prakriti, special creation. The special creation is what we see around us. So, before it takes the form of what we see around us, it is there in germane form, in seed form. We saw that just now. So that is Moola Prakriti. the basic Maya Shakti of Ishvara. That is dormant. That Shakti is dormant before creation. And then it takes a form which is mentioned as Avyakta, Vyakta, Vyakta Swarupini, Vividhakara later on, etc. etc. Now, before it grows, before it develops into the created beings, these are the stages. Mula Prakriti is subtle, Maya Shakti. It has not taken any form. All the jivas, karmas are hidden in Devi. That is Mula Prakriti stage. But it is just before creation. Mula Prakriti stage is just at the instant of before creation. Avyakta is the next stage. Vyakta, Avyakta, Swarupini is the further stage. When it becomes Vyakta, then becomes Vyapini, then it becomes Vividhakara. So, Avyaktam is a stage you will find in the sequence of creation frequently in many Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam, Devi Bhagavatam. Many Puranas talk about Avyaktam. That is the first stage of creation. That is, Mula Prakriti has taken the form of Avyaktam, which can also be interpreted as Mahat. That is the Samashti. The Jivas individually have not taken shape. The group, as a group, that is Mahat. Then there is Ahankara, because each of the Jivas have now been given an individuality. First, it was a group. Then, individuality, that is Ahankara. Mahat and Ahankara, that is Avyakta and Vyakta. Vyakta is Ahankara. Well, you can also interpret in several other ways. Ahankara is not the end of the story. Before it takes the sthula shape, which we see as our body, there are other stages like Panchabhutas, Panchatanmatras, then Bhutas are mixed together to form various bodies, infused with life, etc. These are further stages, but we are not going into those details here. The idea is to say that there is nothing without Devi, so that is being put in so delightful, interesting ways to make us understand that. Mula Prakriti is the first Maya stage just before creation, when the creation is going to start. Avyakta is the first stage of creation when the group of devas is given a certain state. The group of devas is given a certain state. That is the Avyakta state. Avyakta means something which cannot be seen, which cannot be experienced. Vyakta is something which can be experienced because each deva now has taken a shape. And that is Ahankara. Each deva feels, yes, I exist. That has been given. That sense has been given in Avyakta state. So Vyakta, Avyakta Swarupini is when the two together. She is Vyakta, she is also Avyakta. Because this is a time consuming process. It doesn't happen everything, it doesn't happen in 1 minute. There are many centuries through which this process takes place. Every jiva is not created at the same time. That is what Shastra describes this process of creation. That's why you have Vyakta, Avyakta being present at the same time. That is why he says, Mula Prakriti, Avyakta, Vyakta, Avyakta, Swarupini. Of course, I have given the very simple meaning. There could be other technical meanings. There are, in fact, and we will not get into those. So Nitya Klenna Nirupama Nirvana Sukhadayini Nitya Shodachika Rupa Srikantardha Sharirini Prabhavati Prabharupa Prasiddha Parameshwari Mula Prakriti Rabhyakta Yakta Vyakta Swarupini.
व्यापिनी विविधाकारा विद्या विद्या स्वरूपिणी महाकामेश नयन कुमुदाक्लाद कौमुदी भक्तहार्दतमो भेद भानुमत् भानुसन्ततिः शिवधूति शिवाराध्या शिवमूर्ति शिवङ्करी.
Vyapini and Vividhakara are the continuation of the process of creation, which we saw in the previous shloka. Vyapini is someone who is present everywhere, who has spread her presence everywhere. Vyapaka means all pervading, Vyapini. Vividhakara, one is all pervading, that is the essence is all pervading. Devi Shakti is all pervading, and it has taken several jiva shapes, isn't it? Not only human beings, there are animals, there are trees, there are mountains, there are so many rivers, there are so many things. And each of these human beings is different from other. Each of the trees is different from the other. Each of the mountains is different from the other. So there are several crores and crores of created beings. That is Vividha Akara. Akara is form. Several different types of forms. This same Devi, starting with Mula Prakriti, has now taken different shapes. Vidya Avidya Swarupini. Having taken these forms, each jiva is supposed to strive for moksha. That is, we have seen before Purushartha, moksha is the final goal. So that knowledge by which you will get moksha is Vidya. Vidya stands for moksha and Avidya stands for bondage. When it is called ignorance. Ignorance of the final goal, ignorance of knowledge which is required for moksha. That is avidya. Vidya, avidya, swarupini. She is both. She is bondage and she is also knowledge. Because knowledge and bondage are two states of the same jiva depending on his karma and his effort. His karma and his effort. His previous karma gives him the present form. And in the present form, whether he can make any advancement, it depends on his effort. So, Vidya as well as Avidya, Avidya in which he finds himself today, is also a state created by his previous karma and his present efforts. Now, all these are part of Devi's play. That is why Vidya, Avidya, Swarupini. Devi Bhagavatam says this very nicely. Vidya vidyeti devya dverupe janihi parthiva. Dverupe, the two forms of Devi. Ekaya muchyate jantuhu, anyaya badhyate punaha. Ekaya muchyate jantuhu. By the first one, you get freedom, you get moksha. By the second one, you get more and more bondage, avidya, anyaya badhyate punaha. Well, the commentator goes into further technical details. Mahakamesh Nayana Umada Klada Kaumudi. Now, I think the text shown here, Mahakamesh Nayana as one name, Umada Klada Kaumudi as another name. That is not the way Bhaskara interpret. We are going by Bhaskara's interpretation. Mahakamesh Nayana, not Nayana. Nayana Kumudaklara Kaumudi is one name. It's only one name. Kaumudi means moonshine. Kaumudi is moonshine. Why it is called Kaumudi? He himself explains here. Kumuda Akshada Kaumudi. Akshada means excessive happiness, delight. Excessive happiness, delight is given by moonshine to the Kumuda flower, which blossoms in the night. Lily flower. Kumuda flower blossoms in the night on seeing the moon. So Kumuda Akhlada Kaumudi, moonshine, which makes the flower, Kumuda flower, shine, blossom, become happy. Akhlada means extreme happiness. Now, what is the reference here for that? Who is the moonshine here? Devi is the moonshine. Which is the Kumuda flower here? Mahakamesha Nayana. The eyes of Parameshwara, Mahakameshwara. The eyes of Parameshwara or Kumuda flowers, for those Kumuda flowers, Devi is the moonshine. On seeing Devi, his eyes become extremely happy. That is what is meaning. Mahakamesha Nayana Kumada Akshada Kaumudi. Now there is very, very beautiful, interesting meaning. I will explain this then before we close this. Given by the commentator, Bhaskara. He says his interpretation is extremely rare and sensitive. Kumuda is not a flower, according to the second interpretation. Kumuda, that means one who becomes happy with evil activities. Kumuda. Muda means happy. Mudakaratta modaka. Muda means happiness. Ku means everybody knows. Kutsita means evil. Kukarma means evil action, isn't it? Who always associated with evil. So one who becomes happy with evil things is Kumuda. For such a person given to evil habits, she becomes a moonshine, Devi becomes a moonshine, and she brings happiness to such people. Even to those who are given to evil activities, Devi wants to make them happy. Devi becomes like a moonshine, and Mahakamesha Nayana. How does she do it? By taking. Nayana means taking. Because in fact, we saw eyes are called Nayana because they lead us. Similarly, here we are talking about leading, taking and leading these evil jivas to Mahakameshwara, because Mahakameshwara is the one who gives jnana. And jnana devahi kaivalyam. Only by getting jnana we can get moksha. Just now we saw Vidya. Vidya is jnana. So that jnana is given by Parameshwara. All shastras accept that. Devi makes Parameshwara give that knowledge, to that jnana, even to these kumudas, even to these evil spirited people, because they have taken refuge in Devi. That is a implied meaning. The implied meaning here. Even those who have spent like various characters which appear in various Puranas, you will find extreme sinners taking refuge in Bhagavan or Bhagavati and then getting redemption. This is the reference to that. So even those evil spirits, evil-minded people, she gives happiness, aksvaga, like a moonshine, like a moonshine gives aksvaga to the Kumuda flower. That is the Kaumudi itself means that. That's why he is using the word Kaumudi. So, like that, she takes the evil spirit to a Mahakameshwara who preaches them jnana and who gives them moksha. So we stop with this. We continue in the next session and next Saturday as well. Any questions?
Any questions, anybody? Please unmute yourself and ask questions. Please turn on your video because we cannot spotlight you otherwise.
Namaskaram, Mama. This is Rajani. I have a question. You just mentioned Vidya, you related it to bondage. So I was not able to understand it clearly.
What you are not able to understand?
So you said, like, if there is avidya, then it means that you are not going towards moksha and you have bondage. Bondage for life, like you get another birth. Is it something you are trying to explain?
Yes. As long as you keep repeatedly taking birth, then it is bondage. When you get out of the cycle of births, that is moksha. That is the definition of moksha, that you will not come back in creation. That is the definition of vidya and avidya. So as long as you are bound by avidya, you are in bondage. You have taken the form. Once you get out of this avidya and get vidya, then you get out of the cycle and get moksha.
Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Any other questions? Last questions. Any other? Any other questions, anybody? No more questions, Guruji.
Okay. We close for the day. I wish you all the best. And we meet again next Saturday at 7 p.m. IST as usual. नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव सर्वत्र गोविन्दनामसङ्कीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द श्रीललिता परमेश्वर्यै जय जय